Hey guys, okay, so it's soon going to be Chag, so Chag Sameach to everybody who is observing Shavuot. Today, the idea we're going to talk about is musical instruments and using AR to help learn them a little bit better and a little bit faster. So, I'm not a musician, I'm not someone who plays instruments. So, I could tell you as someone that doesn't play instruments, the notes and everything that you obviously have to learn to know how to play the music, to play the instruments, look just like Chinese, right? They look like a foreign language to me. And sometimes it's, I guess, maybe a bit of a barrier to like thinking of picking up something or even to try playing something. And I feel like if it was a bit easier to learn how to play, maybe some of us could pick up instruments a little bit faster. So I don't know all the history about notes and where they come from and how sophisticated or powerful, or if anyone's tried to come up really with a better approach of playing instruments and reading music and being able to do any of that. So I'm not professing to be able to reinvent the wheel over here, but I want to maybe bring an idea of a way of someone who doesn't know how to play music, and maybe even someone who knows how to play music, maybe a bit of a simpler way to pick up a new song or to pick up an instrument and be able to like learn a little bit better using more spatial awareness and colors and timing rather than your notes that have all that encoded inside the notes, but you have to learn how to play them. So is there a way that a beginner can be able to use some forms? Is there a new interface that we can build that makes things simpler? So the first thing that came to me was really with pianos. And I remember this from, it was actually a meetup in like Tel Aviv about blockchain, which was funny because I want to say it's coming up in the news, it came up in the news again recently, but I guess it's always in and out. So I was looking at someone playing the piano. I was like, oh my God, it's gibberish, the notes and everything. I was like, imagine if there could be, what is the notes? Like let's say the keys coming from, let's say, the roof. This is how I visualized it, like falling down. And as they hit the keys, that's the point where your fingers are supposed to press, right? So you get like a timeline, you get a future timeline view of what is supposed to be happening. And as it comes down, you're able to move with it. Now, since then, I actually saw, I can't remember where I saw it, but it was a video of someone playing some music, and the keys were lighting up, but you were seeing the bars just before, and it was pretty much exactly as I was visualizing it. Now, I think my initial idea, like the way I initially was visualizing it, like they were coming from the sky down, like dropping right onto the keys. But I think this view had it like coming from behind the keyboard and kind of like sliding in, which is also really nice. And it looked really cool. There was like glow, there was effects, there was like sparks, when they hit it. But it was exactly how I visualized it, right? It was a spatial, it was like a future ghost key showing me a ghost version, a little bit like the fitness that we talked about yesterday, right? But a way of seeing something that doesn't exist yet. Okay, this is going to be interesting. You're not going to hear a word I say, but this is my backdrop, right? This is what happens when Zoom gives you crazy 3D video backdrops. This is the one I chose today. So you're basically seeing a future piece, and that's what notes do, and that's one of the things about text that are actually very cool. Text over videos, like videos, usually you watch something as it goes, and it's very hard to get information before and afterwards, and also the same thing with sound. But it's much easier to skip through. It's much easier to skip through and still keep the context of the written word. And it's a similar thing with like notes, right? You can see what's coming before, you can even jump ahead while you're still reading or still understanding what you're doing right now. You can like glance ahead and it shows you what to expect. This is a similar thing, but it's using spatial awareness, right? It's the notes are kind of like living on the world. They're not just living on the page on the next line and next couple lines. They're living in the world and they're coming down. Now, I was a little bit bummed to find out that video that I saw was virtual effects, VFX. Special effects. It was a bit bit annoying, but like it kind of made sense. No one had built it yet, and it was like at the end. So they got the key notes recorded, and then they used that to encode where the keys should be and how they were laid out, and then they showed you afterwards. Anyways, the point is that it wasn't as he was playing, it was after he was playing, and it was a nice way of visualizing, which it's still very nice, it looks really cool. But the concept that I was seeing was, this is a way that you can learn how to play. You're seeing the notes as they come. Now, some of you may be familiar that there are now games, and there have been for a bit. So if you think of like Guitar Hero, where they have like I think you play on like a guitar that's connected, and you can see the chords basically come to you on a screen. And they also have like this laser game, right, that you can play in virtual reality that kind of was like very big, I think a year or two ago. And it's still pretty cool, but like you swipe different instruments and you're playing like the music. So you could kind of look at those as like maybe other ways of doing it, or a similar way of how you can visualize it. But that's the concept of using that to learn. So as someone who can't read notes, I can follow that something's falling at a certain tempo and learning how to position my hands. Now obviously when there's lots of different fingers to do, it will take some time to pick up, but I feel like it's a little bit more accessible and a little bit easier to pick up as someone than picking up notes, right? This can definitely go to all other instruments like drums. Imagine they like light up as you go, or you see it and working. And there's lots of instruments that this can work with. But the basic idea was a new spatial way of redesigning the experience, redesigning the UI, UX, however, whatever terminology you like to use, of playing a musical instrument, or at least learning a new song, or even just learning a new instrument, just a new way, instead of having to go through the notes, of using color, timing, and spatial position. Yeah, that's pretty much the idea. It's not a complicated idea, but I do believe we're going to see this very, very soon. It's going to go from just being a concept video to being something that we see. I would love to see how people come up with this with different music instruments. I have a friend that's been posting up different videos, and he has a channel where he posts up different ideas in AR, and I think one of his recent videos was using AR for musical instruments, which is very much tied to this whole concept of this video was more about current instruments and picking them up, but with AR, especially, I think from when I saw this like instrument that you use, like your hands would disturb like invisible beams. I can't remember what it was using, if it was like sound or ultrasound. I think it was like using ultrasound, but you would like disturbing like the ultrasonic beams, and that would create sound, and depending where you did it, you were playing like music, and I thought that was really cool. There's definitely another idea. I don't know, like I'll mention it briefly, but I might do another video, but like I wanted to, one of the ideas around music, again, I'm not a musician, but one of the ideas was like using your body. This is like a very, very, very old idea of mine, of like using different parts of your body and how movements, and it even, the idea kind of morphed into using like a dance floor, because like right now you have like a DJ that controls the dance floor, and I was like, what happens if like the very movements changed, or like the music kind of pushed people to work in different movements, and you know, people feel the music, but like their very dancing could also manipulate the music and create the music itself. So like the actual club, or the actual people on the dance floor, not only respond to music, but then their response creates a their reaction creates a counter reaction, and basically you could create music with responding to music. The DJ, but basically is the crowd being able to create and influence the song. Anyways, there's lots of things we can do with music. This one was very quick, very simple. I'm going to try and get this up before the Chag, and the next 2 days are going to be pre-recorded, and I'll try and get them up scheduled so they come in the right days. But other than that, Chag Sameach for everybody else, enjoy your week, and I will see you guys tomorrow, but I'll see you guys right after the Chag. Yeah, and with that, I'll see you guys in the future.